Well, look at you. Sit down, apprentice. You're sitting there practically vibrating with eagerness for the secrets of the alchemical arts, right? You want to know the architecture of the mind. But let's get one thing straight right out of the gate. What I'm giving you in this explainer today, it's absolutely no gift. It's a curse. I'm just a ruined traveler. I've walked the very edge of the abyss, and I came back with literally nothing but ashes. So I'm not here to uplift you. We're going to dive into the mechanics of your own unmaking. Our subject? The dark Hermes and the alchemical abyss. And no, this isn't that fleet-footed, friendly messenger god you've read about in your gentle little myths. This is the shadow. So listen closely, because I'm passing this cursed knowledge to you right now, and I'm going to detail exactly how the trap is set.
So it always begins at a completely bleak crossroads. You'll know you're there because the very atmosphere turns hostile. Suddenly the fog literally tastes of copper and ancient, unkept lies. And honestly, that metallic tang on your tongue, that's your first and your only warning. Out of that suffocating gray mist, he just steps forward, the dark Hermes. Now, you might be expecting the majestic flutter of divine wings, but you'd be dead wrong. His wing sandals, they don't flutter, they hum. They vibrate with this low, nauseating drone, kind of like a massive predatory insect. It's like Mephistopheles himself stepping out of the cold, mercurial silence of the in-between. And trust me, he's not there to offer you a guiding hand home. He's there to trap you exactly where you stand.
Now he wields the caduceus. And I know, you've been taught it's a symbol of medicine, right? A beacon of healing. Well, erase that naive thought from your mind right now. In his hands, it's a scepter of absolute control. Period. When he approaches you, he flashes this terrifying, frozen grin made of polished ivory, and he just breathes into the silence, declaring himself the path that leads neither home nor away from the abyss. That staff he's holding, it's the literal instrument of your subjugation. It's the tool he uses to manipulate the very air around you, until the horizon itself feels like a closing jaw.
He is essentially the divine gaslighter. You see those twin serpents entwined around his scepter? They aren't just mere decoration. They are conflicting mental traps. As he holds that staff, those twin serpents lean right in and start whispering completely conflicting directions directly into your ears. One serpent speaks with the soothing, gentle voice of a savior, while the other hisses the threats of a predatory captor. And the boundary between the two? It blurs entirely. He speaks in these clever little riddles that feel like shards of glass in your mind, using those double-edged words to completely strip away your sense of purpose. Before you even realize what's hit you, you're lost in a maze of his design, and you won't even remember your own name.
Now, you might foolishly think you can just buy him off. You figure, hey, he wants my gold, my earthly possessions. Sure, he's the Prince of Thieves, but he doesn't give a damn about mundane trinkets. No, his prize is much worse. He intends to pocket your very sanity. He'll taunt you with this utterly terrifying realization. The truth is a locked door, and he is the one who has swallowed the key. The philosophical implications of this are absolutely devastating, apprentice. Think about it. Losing your worldly goods? That's nothing. But losing your sense of self? That is absolute ruin. He's not just taking your path away. He's actively stealing the very core of your reality. He's dismantling your mind, piece by piece.
And this trap builds physically into what I call the Faustian paralysis. It takes hold in 3 agonizing stages. First, this sickly, hypnotic light starts emanating from the caduceus. It's not illuminating your way, it's paralyzing your will and slowing your pulse to a literal crawl. Second, the staff weaves the suffocating web of intellectual fog. And look, this isn't just everyday confusion. It's a trap that completely mimics the strict, binding legalities of a Faustian contract. You find yourself bound by an obfuscated promise. And third, the physical manifestation. Your legs literally turn to lead. Your desperate speed just becomes a useless blur of motion, a cruel mockery of your human effort. At that point, you are utterly, completely caught.
And as you struggle, as your heavy, leaden legs try to push through that suffocating fog, what does he do? He just watches. He watches with complete, chilling indifference. Every single step taken in that cold shadow becomes a debt the soul can never, ever hope to repay. And I say this to you with bitter resignation, my apprentice, because I took those steps. I felt that impossible debt compound with every agonizing, leaden movement. The reality is, the more you fight within his shadow, the more you owe and the deeper you sink into his grand design.
So, this brings us to the truly terrifying descent.
You start sinking into the negrito stage. We're talking about a profound, suffocating psychological blackness. You aren't just lost on some foggy road anymore. You are stranded in the deepest, darkest trenches of your own mind. And right there, within those deep, self-inflicted wounds, the dark Hermes begins to dance. He acts as a kind of foolish fire, actively seducing your ego straight toward ruin. He absolutely delights in the silent, spiritual decay of the soul standing before him. It's a free fall into a void where all the light you ever thought you possessed is permanently extinguished.
So what actually happens to you in that suffocating blackness? Well, your identity doesn't just quietly fade away into the night. No, the old self decays like rotting metal. It's a harsh, caustic, and totally unforgiving process. It is literally a poisoning of your identity. The sturdy iron of who you thought you were, it rusts, it flakes, and it dissolves into this toxic dust. And it hurts. It is painful beyond measure. This is spiritual decay at its most absolute. Your very sense of self is violently corroded by his presence, right up until absolutely nothing of your original structure remains.
But you're probably asking, why? Why on earth must you endure this horror? To really understand the architect's brand awful design, we have to look at this through the lens of Carl Jung. See, this isn't just mindless torture. This rotting, this brutal poisoning of the identity is psychologically required. The dark Hermes is orchestrating a brutal confrontation with the void, specifically to force your shadow to rise. The alchemical shadow, that undeniable truth of your darker nature, can only be born from the total dissolution of your ego. It's a necessary death. He breaks you down completely, forcing you to integrate with the absolute darkest parts of your psyche. And then, well, his work is done. The messenger just turns his back on you. He leaves you stranded in that void, a broken shell of an apprentice, surrounded by this heavy, crushing silence that offers absolutely no exit. Except for one. You're left grappling with one chilling philosophical question. Will you find the exit through your own disillusion? Because that is the reality you now face. If you ever want to escape the abyss, you literally have to accept the complete and total loss of your sense of self. You have to become the void itself. So I pass this cursed knowledge on to you. The trap is now officially set in your mind. I leave you with it. Survive it, if you can.